D. Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing? Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592. It's the battle of the sexes. Aye, sir. The he said, she said syndrome has driven a wedge between us, especially in that book called Leviticus. Think about it. Women go through their monthly menstrual cycle. But despite the taboos, it's nothing that a good shower cannot take care of, or the good old Carbolic soap. So, while some men consider a woman unclean during her monthly cycle and choose to cook their own food, there are some exceptions. That man who loves her unconditionally as she cooks for him and mixes some nice sugar and water. And then there is tradition. Some men and women believe men's and women's clothes should not be washed in the same bath pan, even with the invention of the washing machine. What a sinting! A Saturday morning runnings. Come, make we talk. Everyone, welcome to the feature Saturday Morning Runnings, aired live Saturdays at 10 a.m. I'm your host, Lady D. Denise Gomez, producer of Inside the Zone. It's aired Mondays 5 to 7 p.m. and Thursdays 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and right here on Saturdays at 10. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the YouTube channel. How no do? How no do? Welcome from near and far. We there. Morning, ladies. What's going on in?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we there. Another.
Good morning. I mean, almost said Viola Davis. I almost said Viola Davis is with us, but it's Viola Charles.
Charlesy, you're going big.
What?
Charlesy, you're going big. I hear that. But not to give the secret away, Max, but Max and I were talking, and we're gonna do something to bring some important people in. So that's okay. Yeah. Yes. So that's the off-site discussion that will bring you ladies up to speed since you know come to school late.
We will finish and tell you later.
All right.
You came to class late, so no miss.
Ask pardon, had too much party last night.
I missed the
I saw that.
You hear that? Which party you didn't go?
That was like at what time did that pop in again? That was like
after 1.
After 1. 12:59 a.m. to be exact.
But when you have a certain age, you can't hang anymore.
Oh dear.
So you get loose.
You pay your feet the next day.
I know, right?
Mom, it's good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you, Lady D.
Yes, nice to have you. Nice to have you.
How are you?
She looking fabulous. Good
Yes.
morning.
Yes, sir.
Morning, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Nice.
So, ladies
Love
and
the
gentlemen,
colors,
we're
love the
here
colors.
this morning. Yes, we're here this morning. Let's do a quick hello. And because, we really want to talk about this battle of the sexes. And if you realize in the promo, so much going on and the reasons why, it was interesting that when in the app that I use to do the designs, and I said, let me see if I find the Bible. Then I said, let me type Leviticus.
Oh,
And there it was. I was able to just, insert the slide. I said, go on, Denise, Leviticus here.
It was well
So
done. I like it.
yeah.
Love it.
Oh,
love it.
thank you. And going forward, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are avid subscribers, I'll be sending the promo out in the YouTube link, which makes it so much easier for you to share it, invite persons to like and subscribe to it. Because usually I just upload the actual video.
shout to mother.
But I'm gonna ask you to keep pushing and pushing so we can get the numbers up. And then based on the plans that we have, we'll also get the people we want and to keep the vibe going, because all five of us, we've really been holding it down very, very well. I have to give ourselves big time, not even pat, but a good bump on the on the hand. Seriously. So we'd like to welcome everyone this morning. Let's do our quick shout out. Morning, Andrea was first in line. Morning, Andrea. Gritly, I had a good laugh with Gritly this week, because Gritly had mentioned last week that, of course, she wear a big shoe size, a large shoe size. So after she tell me which one, I'm like, okay.
Oh, it was greatly.
Yeah, Gritly had mentioned about her foot.
Okay.
Yeah. So you hear Ryan now. See ya now, Jesus. Here we go. Them now in woman mix up.
You better draw for your Bible, Ryan. In the name of Jesus.
Right? All right. So Gritly is telling us good morning. Charlesy telling us good morning.
Morning.
So we're here again. Lord Jesus. She says, we at a whole heap for talk about. Okay.
What I want to put that about.
He says we're all looking fabulous. Thank you.
Thanks.
And
Thank
yes,
you,
so
Ryan.
invite your friends to come on in, and as they do, we'll invite them to like, share, and subscribe. So, Battle of the Sexes. So Jackie had sent a note. Max says she can't wait to talk about it. I'm sure she have enough to say, and I'll just be the moderator. I'll just moderate.
Not to mention Angie. I know Angie have a lot to say.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is why, because Jackie had sent the note that, both her and her mom were having the conversation and even the Bible, and which is why I say, Denise, pull the Bible quick and drop it in. Because
All right.
we really want to, talk about it this morning, Battle of the Sexes. And when Jackie came up with the topic, we were saying, okay, yes, we know of some of the things men, in particular, certain sect, have said and all of that. And we said, fine, because outside of them, there are men who have also taken certain positions, whether it's through a woman and her monthly menstrual cycle, or they just feel that, certain things you're not fit to do. And
A woman have to do certain work.
right. And
There are
as you say,
places in the home. Have
true.
baby.
Same. So, and it was just this past week for
Clean the-
International Women's Day. So, hello to all the women,
Oh,
Yes.
this is my out to Women's Day. You see that strong sister?
Hi.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
strong
Oh,
sister.
yes.
Girl power.
Pretty.
It's an Angela Davis thing we have going on here.
Yes, whatever it takes.
Right. So it was just this week I saw a Facebook friend, Robin Smith, her last name, and she is a electrician. So she was bigging up in Jamaica. She was bigging up all the females who are in, a similar discipline. So we just want to say hi. Yes, we can do it too, and we can still remain the genteel, gender that we are. Because I believe, yes, there are certain things men do better because primarily of their physical strength, physical, the operative word, not necessarily from a mental, cognitive capability, but
cognitive.
Yeah. So, hi, we can reason well and factor things in. So we give respect, give due respect to our male counterparts. I don't rival men, I really don't do that. I find that if I stay in my lane, I will do even better. I don't have to compete. And sometimes women want to compete.
No, we shouldn't.
We shouldn't compete, right?
No.
We shouldn't compete. So let's start the conversation.
If things come naturally for you as a female, then by all means pursue what comes naturally, but don't compete.
That's right. 17 minutes after 10 o'clock. Welcome to Saturday morning running. So let's start with Mom and Jackie. What's the story? What's going on over there?
Listen, this actually came out of a friend of mine posted something on Facebook one day about women's role and men's role, and he was strong about the fact that his woman's clothes should not be washed with his, and it brought about a whole long conversation about that. And I said to myself, I wonder if our crew or friends on our YouTube have seen this and have the same perspective as it relates to that sort of a thing. Because I know growing up, I've heard situations where certain clothes you don't wash with certain clothes. And I mentioned it to Mom. And just this week we had a almost debate about it, not knowing that I was the rebel to break the tradition.
Oh.
So it also has been a tradition or something in our family where the great coming from great grandparents, grandmother, who never washed the man's clothes with the woman's clothes. So Mom can probably say a little bit more about that because she feels the same way too, and I didn't even realize that. So, Mom, you remember the conversation?
Yes, I did. As Jackie said, it's like a tradition because I grew up as an only child, and I had to be with my mom, and whatever she was doing, I was helping out and things like that. And I always watched to see, because if she's washing, then I would have a little pan, beside her. And I noticed what she did was, the fresh water, soap, everything. And she put my dad's clothes in first. She would separate them. And then she washed my dad's clothes first. Would wash his white clothes. And then when they wash his white clothes, then she would put our white clothes in after.
In the same pan.
Okay. that wash daddy's clothes. And then if the water looked any little way, she would throw away that water. And then she would get a new water and then put in the rest of clothes and keep on doing it like that, because but I never questioned why she didn't wash our clothes, because you see, it just come natural to washing it like that. And then we would be there and talking and said, this is how because she grew up with her grandparents, and she said that's how her grandparents did it. Didn't wash grandpa clothes with their clothes. They would go, and even if they go to the river they would wash the men's clothes first, and then afterward they would wash our clothes. So
And
I never questioned it.
especially a woman, having her menstrual.
Right.
And
Well, that never come near. That garment never come near to like my father's clothes, because my mama always has a little bucket or a little basin or something and have her clothes in that. And because in those days they would use cloth towels. And then if she's having that, that would put aside with her soiled clothes, and then that would wash differently. And even when everything is out, like that little spot would be there, and when everything is out, she would use her soap or whatever it is and put those different, and that wouldn't touch near to anything to the mat to my father. Because we didn't have any. It was only my mom and dad and myself. So we didn't have any boys or whatever, but it was just that.
But I felt that that happened because of what you just said. They had to use cloth at the time. So obviously you wouldn't want to mix those with any clothes at all. I don't think even yours. So you put them in a separate container as women. And I think I caught a little bit of that growing up, because I saw when grandma do that. They would wash these things and lay them out on zinc on the barbecue to sun. And those, of course, definitely would be washed separately. But people not use cloth no more. So that was the same argument on that chat. People, we're not in that day and age anymore. And the fellas still, held strongly against that. And I also had a classmate at school. Her father was a Rasta man. And she would tell us that during the menstrual period time, the mother couldn't stay in the same room with the father. They had to be in a separate room because she was unclean and all of that. So
even today you have the excuse me for butting in, but even today you have in the Rasta culture, they still stand. You have some strong-hearted people who still do that.
The woman, the woman is unclean.
So the woman is unclean, especially during her cycle. But then after, if you go in and you read in Leviticus, as Lady D says, if you read in it, and when you go down like to the last part of it, it says in those days when you were, the period of your separation, right? Because in those days, a woman, when a woman has a child, whatever the thing, like 6 days, right? She would be separated for at least 66 days. She couldn't be where the men are, right? And in that period, because remember in those days now you have a lot of women, a communal women, right? So they would be in one, separated in one, because most of the women would be in their period then or have their children. So they would be separated from the men. So the men would have to be doing for themselves, and the women have to be doing. But after that period, then they would
be reunited.
Yeah, be reunited.
So. Yes. Great. And, so I like to be fair. And while you have men who have taken that position, whether it was from a certain time, there are women today who, because of how some men were raised, they know the value of maintaining a very hygienic setting, both as their personal, on their personal selves, in their surrounding. And if they find that they are having a relationship with a woman who is not demonstrating that, they will take that position, and say, you're not going to cook nothing for me, you know, going, and they may not want to have the conversation because it can be a very difficult conversation to have. But you do find that there are women who don't do certain things, but they love to jump in the kitchen and whip up something, right? They can cook, you know, and do everything else, but they don't seem to demonstrate anything about hygiene. So whether it's themselves, whether it's their environment, and if a man is raised very well and right, him not going lower his standards at all for her. Him not going to do it. So he would rather maybe stop and eat every evening somewhere and we excuse about the breakfast. Something is gonna happen. So we have to be also you know, honest that this happens as well.
No.
Who else wants
You
to
were
jump?
gonna say something?
Yeah, I was going.
Oh,
Go
Mom
ahead.
was gonna say something.
No, I was saying that but even in this how you were raised, how we were raised, it's like we still have that sense of knowing that, you know, sometimes all women have issues, right? And you have little issues because you take your, you know, and it's soiled or anything. I wouldn't want to wash that with my husband's clothes either.
Right.
Because I just have that guideline that I grew up with, that I wouldn't put that there because we don't know what's happening there, because sometimes you don't even know what you have, you know, and things like that. And just that sense of hygiene, you know, you wouldn't want to do it either. I wouldn't want to do it either, and I don't. Right? It's very rare, like I have these girls now, and I would, you know, take my underclothes off. And in those days, we have to, when we have our shower or bathe, you know, a little bath pan, we would have to wash out that,
At the same
you know,
time.
at the same time and
Yeah.
put it out, you know.
I was saying to Lady D, I came here with a little of that tradition. So, like you said, we have shower now, so we have soap in the bathroom, so we just wash and either hang out. So me now, wash, and there was a line outside. There was a clothesline outside. This is in the Bronx. So I was happy to see a clothesline. So me go out and me hang things out on the line. When me wake up the following day, them stiff like board. Because they were frozen. They were frozen stiff.
They must play.
Never realized, say, even though sun shine outside, they weren't gonna be. It wasn't gonna be hot enough to get these things were stiff and icicle dripping off of them. Okay, so I never thought that was one of the debates yesterday. I never thought that I would even put my undergarments in the washing machine to wash. And then coming here now, living a busy life, you're running from school to 2 jobs and you have a kid to take care of. I couldn't separate my clothes separate from my son's because it was he and I. I couldn't separate his clothes. I had to just put everything together, run to the laundromat, drop everything in the laundry, in the machine, wash, dry, and we're home and done with it. Nothing happened to him. So that's what I'm saying. When we were younger, or, you know, back in my grandparents' days, what did they think was going to happen? Was the man going to be defiled?
Exactly.
Was some kind of disease going to come off, rub off on him? So that's my debate. So I guess I broke that tradition.
No, the saying that to use
Sharon, you're breaking up badly.
Yeah.
All right.
Now?
No, it's still
no.
choppy.
We can hardly see you too. You're kind of foggy.
Hazy.
Hazy.
All right, let me fix my over here.
Okay. Welcome everyone. It's 10:29 a.m. We'd like to welcome you to Saturday morning runnings right here on Inside the Zone YouTube channel with Lady D and the crew. Max, Jackie, Sherns, Mom. Unfortunately, Jen will not be able to join us. So, you know, we miss her. but whenever
Yes.
she's able to, she will join us. So morning, everyone. As you can see, battle of the sexes. There are certain things that we hold on to and certain things men hold on to. How do we strike the balance? Because that is also
And then
something
missed.
we need to address.
Oh, you're
How we
fine.
strike the balance there with each other. So Sharon, you were about to say?
Yeah. Am I better now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, you
To
sound
address
better.
what Jackie said, what would happen to the boys, or what would happen to the men, if everything was intermingled? The popular saying back in the day was that you'd have turned them down. You'd have turned them
Down,
down.
yes.
Jamaica said they got turn down the man. They got turn down the
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
That means some amount of probably make the man a little effeminate, or blight them chances or whatever. That was the popular belief. But I think across the board over time, the lines have been blurred because of course it's in the Bible, it's in the Old Testament, and some people hold to that. And with regards to sanity, being sanitary and everything to do with being, with sanitation when handling stuff, it was adhered to up until a certain point. But like Jackie also pointed out, napkins are no longer made of cloth that you have to wash and recycle over, because it's understandable you couldn't put a man's clothes with that. But now that you have all kinds of disposables and other things, it no longer is a factor. However, some people, based on, like you said, Lady D, how they were raised, they may hold strongly to that. The same thing would go along the lines with a man who don't like a woman to have nails. You have some man, if the woman have long nails, she can't cook for him. The first thing them say, oh, you are gonna make dumpling, oh, you are gonna peel this, oh, you are gonna
Right.
peel potato, you are gonna do this. So I mean, this
Or peel
also,
banana.
yeah. But I mean,
Yes.
why do woman have to peel banana? Why she can't just wash the banana, slice it, and cook it at the skin?
Which is
Why
what
she
we do
can't wear
now.
cooking? Yeah, why she can't
That's
wear
what
cooking
I'm
gloves?
talking about.
Yeah, why you can't wear cooking gloves? They back in the day, you never had as many kitchen tools. Not like
Gadgets.
I don't want to go too far off subject, but
Right.
you didn't have enough kitchen tools like you have now. You didn't have tongs to read stuff. You didn't have off glove. You never had all those things. So it would be a little bit more difficult. But also, I think to some degree, the men, quote unquote, would keep the woman in their place based on the domestic part of it. You know what I mean? So she would not be allowed to do certain things, or if the woman grew up a different way and it was not a factor in her bringing in her being
Boy,
brought
her
up,
underclothes.
then they would
My
say, well,
mother.
it's my way or the highway. I don't want my clothes with your clothes. Don't touch me during this time. Leave out of the room to another room. To me, even in the Bible, I can't rewrite the
It's
Bible. I can't
extreme.
disagree with God, obviously. But even then, when I read it, I used to say, my goodness, that means that's something to women. Your monthly is something that is private, that's very personal. Everybody one is different. And for you to have to broadcast to some degree, because if you have to leave your home to go to the communal hut where everybody else on with the same condition is, you have to broadcast every month. Okay, I see you in 6 days because
It's
God,
I have
yes.
to go over here. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Them days are done. And along with the modern times and modern amenities, I think the some of these strong held beliefs should be let go of. Although it's very hard once something is engrown, it's in your mind, it's ingrained in your
Yes.
psyche. It's a little, it's hard to unlearn certain things, but we have to come to the realization that a lot of it is myth. It's not fact, it's myth. But if you feel like the myth, is more important to you than going along with the modern times, then
And
nobody's
facts.
gonna fight you on that.
Absolutely.
Thank
So
you for that.
Max,
Yes.
what say you? What say you,
Right.
Max? What
Yeah.
say you?
Okay. So As Bob Marley says, I've got so much things to say right now. I've got so much things to say, and I want to separate the two ladies. I want to separate the cooking from the clothes washing, because it's two separate things when you check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so first let me attack the menstrual part of it. So menstrual cycle, that's a given. We have no control over it. It's a disease. It's not an illness. It's not catching. It is just a natural part, a cycle that women go through every month. When they get into the menopause age, then that doesn't happen anymore. And I can't see why your spouse should be separated from you because you're having a period. Because when you're not on a period, they're all over you. Right? And we all know during menstrual cycle we don't do intercourse. That doesn't mean your husband can't hug you or can't lay next to you. That's the time you need comfort. That's the time you need hug. That's the time you need somebody to
Exactly.
embrace you because you're having
A
pain,
cup of
you're having
tea,
cramps. You
something.
want your spouse
Yeah.
to be with you, to be around you, to hug you, to comfort you. So I see no reason why you should be separate and be in another room. No, I don't buy that. I don't believe in this separation. And one of the things I also learned is that back in the days why the women were not allowed to cook or be in the kitchen is because back then they never had sanitary napkins. Women had to sit over what you call a chimney or whatever, a pot, sit over something during the whole cycle until they were finished. Because they never had what we have now. Now we have tampons, we have napkins, different size, different color, different thickness. Back then it wasn't like that. So it's mother and tell.
Right.
So we need to get out of that taboo thing of being separated and you can't be in the same room. I don't buy that. So where the clothes
Yeah,
washing is
like I said,
concerned,
that's a
this
myth.
is how I look at it.
Yeah.
Back then, yes, back then and even now too, men do different type of stuff for work. They do farming, they do coal mining, they do mechanic. Of course, you
Real
don't want to
heavy
wash your
stuff.
mechanic clothes and your coal
Mhm.
mining clothes and
Close
your
together.
woman
Yes,
clothes because
that
those are
was the
extremely
same thing that
dirty.
came
So
up.
those should be washed
Right.
separately.
Yes,
Yes, those should be washed separately. If you're having your
yes.
menstrual period and you this undergarment gets soiled, you would not wash it with your man's clothes, with your husband's clothes. Otherwise, from that, I am not going to run my washing machine upstairs and put normal clothes in one cycle and mine in another cycle. No, I pay water bill, so I'm going to put them together. I'm not putting my underwear in, but if I'm going to wash this t-shirt and my skirt and stuff like that, put them together in the same machine. You got to improvise. You got to save on soap and water and bleach and fabric softener. So I see no reason not to wash your clothes and you man. I mean, you're sleeping in the same bed, sleeping on the same sheet and everything. What's the separation for? I cannot see it, and that's my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm very strong on the topic. I mean, so
I
Well
strongly
well
agree.
taken, Max.
Right.
I
Well
strongly
taken.
agree with your Max.
Strongly. Because they
Mm-hmm.
want you,
yes.
everyone do everything else with you. So what happened that one little time in the month? It's time for those things. And I
Yes.
mean, the people who were bringing up this conversation the time that I looked at, they were young guys. So like
Mm.
they were reaching back in
Yes.
time and they were
And
drawing for those traditions
Yes.
and holding on to them and keeping them. And it didn't make sense to me. And that's why I brought it, to the group.
and you have to understand
It's a
that
very
some
good
of these
topic.
men are mentored by men who that was handed kind of information was handed down to.
Right.
Handed down.
Yeah.
And so they saw
Mhm.
it practiced in their home, or their friends would tell them about it, that I'm in a different room, that who not doing this and all that, but they did not have any first-hand experience of their own. So
Mm-hmm.
Precisely.
they just kept going with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
even if their mates would say to them, where you get this from? Gibberish. They wouldn't
Right.
have any solid
Yes.
response,
Right.
any
Yeah.
foundational response
And
to give,
another thing I want to
because it's
mention.
just by
Another
the
thing.
way they got it, just by the way. Go ahead, Max.
Another thing I want to mention. Okay, so you have your wife at home and you can't eat from her when she's having her cycle. But you go out into the restaurant and buy food. How do you know that the person who's serving you food or who made that food
Himself.
wasn't on their cycle?
Who's serving,
Think
cooking,
about
Oh,
that.
you no, how can you tell? You can't look at us and tell. Having a menstrual cycle, you can
Exactly.
look at your face and tell. So when you go into the restaurant and you order the food, how are you gonna know that the person who cooked the food wasn't a female who was on her cycle, or the one who's serving the food is not on her cycle? Let me tell you something,
Right.
ladies. Normally, I run restaurants when we lived in we had a restaurant in the Bronx, and I observed, and I didn't realize it back then. But now that we're on the subject and the topic, I'm looking back. And I'm thinking, I noticed when the guys walk into the restaurant, they would say, "Chef," because they wanted to see who in the kitchen and who made the food.
Oh.
They would
Oh,
always, a few people would do that when they walk in and say, "Welcome, chef." And then, of course, the chef would push out the maid and, we heal them out. But I
Yes.
looking back, I realize now the reason why they did that, some of them, because they wanted to see who is in the kitchen, what the chef look
Who
like, if
was
it's a
cooking the
female or
food?
it's a male.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here is
So,
hey,
people
Sister
still have
Morrison.
taboo idea, but we have to remember that things sometimes switch.
So here is Sister
Yes.
Morrison saying, when I was growing up, I noticed sometime my mom would sleep by herself, but I did not know what, why. And then I noticed, then after a time, she would go back in the bed. When I get big, I understand why. So there you have it.
yeah.
So then Herman,
Mhm.
welcome Herman. We were taught to wash men's clothes separately from women's clothes, especially when it comes to underwears. Mhm. There you have that. Because I know that growing up, the ladies who used to come and wash for us, that's how I know about sorting. They would put the blouse over here, put shirts for daddy, my grandpa,
Right,
my uncles and stuff, separate pants and thing, and they would put them in a timely manner and wash and rinse and hang out on the line.
right.
Comes
Mhm.
on to underwear to this day. Denise does not put any underwear nowhere in a no washing machine.
In
May
the
have the
washes.
fabric softener in the bathroom. It is not a garment that takes no long time to launder. And I just put it
Exactly.
right
Exactly.
there and put it on our hang thing when it's
Yeah.
because of course we're not getting no sun like in winter time. So I have a little area with the vent where you can put it by and the heat from the vent, whatever you
Mhm.
need to do. But certain things, no, me not think you need to carry that, especially if you have to go to a public laundromat.
Laundromat.
And if
Mhm.
And
you're
I mean,
to
and
make,
that's something with West Indian
mm,
families, because we were taught not to have that stuff hanging out for other people to see. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But here I realize here that's a common assault.
you mean to hang your what is
Underwear, underwear.
Yes, that's
that
yeah.
growing
Yeah, we
up?
were taught
Right, Ma?
nobody's supposed to see your underwear. So
Really?
because with my mother
Yes.
having
You
all
have anything to
girls,
say on that?
you know, and stuff like that. And in the country, growing up with my grandmother, we
Mm,
live off the beaten path. Nobody know really. I mean, your neighbor might walk through and so, but we
correct.
had a little spot on the line, one like a farish part, and that is where
Remember
the
by the
designated,
French.
the
Correct.
designated spot.
I've
But
heard
in Kingston,
Irish.
when I was in Kingston with my mother, for holidays and stuff, we had that little, it's a little round hanger thingy. You
Mm,
hang it and
Mhm.
it have little pegs hanging down.
yes.
And with
Mhm.
all the four girls, and
Yeah,
everybody would wash the underwear, pin it, and it
Mm,
would hang on the curtain rod in the bath. So
mm,
that was
Mhm.
not brought outside. But I notice here you can go to the laundry, and if you don't have your machine at home, and you can go to the laundry and people have 15 pairs, 1 dozen pairs
Mhm.
washed and spread
yes, I
out
wash
like
that
it's
laundry.
nothing. And the thing that was appalling to me when I see the woman with it, but are not too bad. But I have seen men
Coming
who
in.
come to the laundry, and when they put them in the machine, there's a whole heap of baggy in there. And them folding and washing like it's nothing. And
yeah.
they're talking to you like it's
Yes.
a regular,
Yeah.
just folding neatly. Sometimes the woman is next to them, sometimes the woman is absent. So it depends on how they were raised.
Yes. And we were raised, we
Yes.
put ours out on our line in our backyard. And we have a big backyard. And we would go with
Yes.
our clothespins and
Yes.
pin them up. And we were told that sun
I
will
put them
set
on the
our
maca
line.
tree, hang them on the maca tree, or the what you call it,
Yes.
Yeah.
the shoe black flowers
Two
tree.
black the
Yeah,
fence,
you
the
you
Anywhere
hang
palm
you
them
tree.
find.
there.
Yes.
So we put
Yes.
them outside and launder them, and there were no holy nothing going on. So you could put them.
Only but it
The only
clean.
only got it clean.
But
The only got it clean.
But even there was an art to hanging out clothes. If you hang out your clothes chaka chaka, it was like a disgrace.
Horrible. We
So
were
as
Yes.
not
young
taught to
girls
hang
growing
out
up, we
clothes.
we were we were taught
Pause a
how
little
to
bit,
hang up.
Janet. Do we have
Huh?
any Spanish? Do we have any Spanish people watching our show?
Possibly.
Oh, okay. We don't want to offend anybody. Why?
No.
This is like a joke. I used the word at work one day. I was on the phone, and my Spanish coworker was laughing her head off, and she said when I was done, she said, "Jackie, do you know what that word means?" So I said, "What word?" And she said, "Chaka chaka." So I said, "It means when things are disarrayed and dirty. That's how it means in our culture." She was laughing. She said, "Oh no, that means," she was from the DR. She said, "That means for us, mucho chaka chaka." Mucho chaka.
So that's a sexual connotation
after that, we know say certain words, we have to be careful of me.
Well, our root words, we know our root words coming from, the continent and
Yes.
European words mixed together. And stuff. So,
but I didn't want to take away from you, but that got me. Sure.
So that has a sexual
Chaka chaka.
Okay.
But speaking of women's stuff like napkins, once upon a time you would never find a man walk into a store, a supermarket or so, and ask for sanitary napkins to purchase sanitary napkins for his woman or his significant other, whatever. But nowadays it's like nothing. I see the men walking in the supermarket and they pick up this stuff and it's nothing to them.
That tells you that when a man gets to that level, he understands.
He's a real man.
Understand, and is secure with himself, and it's also a sign of love to me. Yeah, it's a sign of love to the woman and respect and honor to the woman as well. Because he understands the situation, he knows what it's for, and it's somebody who's close to his heart, so it doesn't really matter. So Mom wants to say something. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want one moment, Mom. 1 moment. In keeping with what Jackie just says, and we discussed it earlier, I was gonna also mention that I've heard on accounts where during intercourse, during the menstrual cycle, there are some couples who do have intercourse because they say it helps to alleviate some of the pain and the clotting and so on. So while some people may find that it's not right, even if it's messy, but maybe some people, from a religious perspective or something, or the Bible, say it shouldn't be done. But some women have said that it has helped them tremendously.
I think that's a personal choice.
It's a personal
right. It's a personal thing. If that works for you, and the world is not going to know that happens in your bedroom, that's your bedroom. Absolutely. You do whatever.
Yes, that's a personal choice.
Right.
Go ahead, Mom.
I'm not knocking anybody for their thing, doing their thing.
No, you were saying about the husband or the man would be buying stuff. Mm-hmm. My husband, he used to travel. That was in our discussion yesterday too, where he used to travel, and some of the best underwear that I ever wear and they ever wear, it was bought by my husband.
We were talking about that.
He went to Panama. And he saw these panties, and those last forever.
Let me tell you something. People are talking about they're selling, what are they calling now? Shakers. We're talking about in the 80s. Because I used to wear them to school, and I left high school in 85. And let me tell you something. You see, like during the menstrual cycle, we wear like over or underwears or regular underwears. There were underwears that you could wear. You see, when you hold those things like this, they come right back. They were so elasticized that you hold them and they just come right back together. And they come like right up to your waist. Those things held our bodies. Yes. Nowadays, I don't think young girls are wearing the proper underwears or so on to keep their bodies together. Let me tell you, those things shaped us. We love them.
No,
and they lasted forever. He bought them in Panama when he went to buy car parts for the buses. And those were some of the best underwears we've had. Mom, we were talking about that yesterday. And he had no shame in his game. And she told us a story. She told us a story about him trying to buy an underwear for her.
He traveled. He used to travel, so he came to the States. And when he was in the States and he was coming back home, he asked a friend, the friend who he was staying with, to take him to the Walmart or Ross or where it was, because he's going to buy things for his family back home. And he went in the store, and then he went to where the underwear were, and he couldn't he couldn't decipher my size. So he went in and he took up the underwear, and he was there and he was opening it, and he look at the waist, and then he look at the foot and things like that. Still couldn't decide, and he saw one of the ladies who were working in the store, and he took the underwear up there and went to try it around. Put it around the woman. Put it around. He tried to put it around the one waist and say, yes, because you look like the size of my wife.
The woman was looking at him.
Yeah, the woman was so shocked.
The woman run out of the store.
The other woman just take time and sidle out of the store and we just sit in the car.
The woman said, "Me don't want nobody know, so me know him."
Oh my God. Because you know what? He was intentional in making his purchase, you know. He refused to come out of the store and not purchase.
Yes, the other woman left him.
The woman who took him to the store ran outside and sat in the car and said,
she said, "Me don't want nobody knows, so me know him." This was long time. So can you imagine that time? Back then, you would have find a man going to the store and take up underwear. But he didn't care. He didn't care.
He wanted underwear for his wife, so he's going to buy it.
Jesus.
Look at the leg, look at the waist.
But believe it or not, I have a quick story like that. I have a quick story like that. Shortly after Norman and I got married, Norman bought underwear for me. He bought me 2 underwear. Somebody was selling underwear. Not for somebody that sells, somebody was selling stuff. And he bought 2 underwear and bought them for me. One was too big and one was too big, and we couldn't wear them. Yeah, one was too small and one was too big. We always talk about it and laugh about it. It was so funny.
Oh dear. Okay. Anne-Marie says, I like my underwear to get sun sometimes. Okay. Yes, ma'am. All right. Sister Morrison says, what she says here, if a man love himself, he must love his wife in everything, whether that time of the month or not. Some women have cramps and they need that comfort. Yes, I don't know what we said, but Sharon, I don't know what we said, but Sharon is dying with laughing.
Sharon laughing.
Okay, so Max, that's where we have the blue soap in the bathroom. That was alrighty. Now, and so, you know, how do we talk to our men? Because yes, we've identified all the things that, you know, we have concerns about. Yeah, well, you know.
Most of us don't have no men.
Oh, mercy.
That's
most of us don't have any men.
That's all right. We can talk to the ones who will hear.
Aye, exactly.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Once we listen.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like Lady D said, how do we talk to our men? We talk to them from early. Like when we were growing up, my mom had a series of books. We always had a library in the house. So,
how to become
Unbecoming a Man, Unbecoming a Woman, Happiness of Our Husband and Wives. Those were a set of 3 books that we had in the house. The girls read the other ones, the woman one, Unbecoming a Woman. The boys read Unbecoming a Man, and we all read them interchangeably. So starting from that age, you're familiarizing them with the expectations of a man, when you get to what is expected of you when you get to be a man or when you get to be a woman. I think that's why we were so open, and I thank you dearly, my mother, for exposing us like that, to the world like that, and to be open about certain things. But I remember distinctly too the first time my mother was telling my eldest brother about wet dreams, and he got so disgusted. How old was Tommy?
He was in high school, I think.
He had started high school, but anyway, he got so disgusted that he bolted out the house when she was talking to him about that, because he was of that age now. He bolted out the house and run underneath the mango tree, go throw up.
Oh, Lord.
So none of us did think that Tommy would have had kids, because he was so disgusted and grossed out with those things. But Tommy ended up having the most kids out of all of us, you know, and the most girlfriends and stuff like that. But an excellent husband. Nothing grossed him out now. Excellent husband. Tommy's been married for what, over 25, 27 years or something like that. You know, long time. So I think those exposing them at a young age like that, they nothing bothers them. Any one of my brothers can go into a store, pick up underwears and sanitary napkins or any feminine items for their wives right now. And they've had good marriages, good long marriages, all the men in my family. So I thank God for that.
Yes, absolutely.
And how to do it from early.
Early.
Yes, because talk to them.
But I think in some schools, I don't have to do it now, but back in the days when I was in school, they taught what they call personality improvement, where in class they would teach etiquette to boys and girls, and they would teach about menstrual cycle with girls. So the boys sitting there would learn and understand what to expect from the female and what the females go through. You know, so there was nothing hidden back then. I don't know how they do it now in schools, but etiquette, male, female should be taught in school. It should be a subject, a general subject where men, guys, boys know what to expect of women, of girls, and vice versa. Because if they're not taught in school, then they learn it wrong. They learn it from the peer group who don't have the right.
Sometimes they don't learn it at home.
To them, and that's when we have chaos. Yes. I
I
remember
remember
when I
sex education.
I started at 14.
Right.
I started at 14, and I was scared to go to my grandmother. Because it was like a taboo. It was hidden. It wasn't spoken of. Nobody taught me.
Nobody would talk to them about it.
It was hidden. It was never taught to me. I learned what I learned from in school and from friends, not from home. But mothers, if you have a daughter and your son, father with your son, you have to get them together and teach them these things. Because I said before, if you don't teach them the right way, they will learn the wrong way.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And Sister Morris says, when I did have my boyfriend, he did that for me. He went and he bought it for me, as you said, and I believe that he loved me. Sure, go on, your Sister Morris.
Very nice.
Yes.
But even though, even now, Lady D, I'm so proud of my boys because even like with Asher, I live here with Asher, and we share a bathroom, right? And when he's here, we share the bathroom. And you can go in there, and whenever he take off his brief, his underwear, you go inside and see it wash or hang up inside the bathroom.
Really?
Yes. He washes, and he hardly put his underwear in the laundry.
Because there's a washing machine right downstairs.
And he would, as soon as he go in, take off his underwear, he would wash it and hang it over on the rack.
Yes. And I think
children live what they learn.
Continue, Mom. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm saying, and I notice it's the same thing like with the boys, when they take off their underwear, it's very rare you would find one, maybe, like you take off your pants and your underwear together, maybe that underwear would be in there, but otherwise they would wash out their underwear and put it to dry when they go and have their bath.
And you know
And
something, Max said something that what she wasn't taught
mhm,
about how when your menstrual cycle comes, what you do, and so on. And I think that happened maybe because her mother didn't really
didn't
teach
didn't
her.
read, yeah.
That's
You
not
know, it's
grandmother.
most of
Grandmother.
these things
Mm,
are just handed down, and there was a certain shame that is attached to it,
Yes.
mhm,
right? So,
mhm.
like the woman
Yes, why?
of the days of the Bible who had to separate themselves, we've already
Right.
factored in that fine. They didn't have running water much. They didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things, right? The amenities were not in place.
Yes.
And so now that we have shower, we can go in and gush ourselves down with water. We can wash with hands. You have hand
Yeah.
sanitizer
Mhm,
of all kind. You have natural soap and water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here you have
Mm-hmm.
today, I'm not sure how many women and men are having that conversation.
True.
When we
That's
talk
true.
about, men and women
all the
come
time.
together and everybody a date and we talk about it, we Google Gaga with one another. But these
Mm-hmm.
kinds of conversations we don't have. Are you averse to anything? What is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? What would you like me to do? And we're asking each other these kinds of questions.
Mm-hmm.
If you raise it and they seem like to want to have a hands off, we're going to have a problem going forward. I remember a
Right.
gentleman who was hosting a program on radio, and he had mentioned one time that for him, he's very tender to her at that time of the month. And yes, he would allow her
Yes.
to cook for him. But what he observed, even before they lived together, he observed that when she would come over, and if she's in her cycle at that time, when she's through showering in the bathroom, he can actually go in there, go eat. She would clean it down and
Clean it up.
bleach all
Yes.
kind of stuff. He never go in there and see any specks of anything that would cause him know that when she ready to come cook, she'll cook for me. No, he said that women really need to be conscious and a man needs to be sensitive.
Sensitive.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Because if they
Yes.
are not, and the
Yes.
sensitivity comes from how you're taught, what you're told.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are
Oh, you
born with
were
our
growing. Oh,
sensory,
you were
right?
growing.
We have feelings and emotions, but in always channel to that. So these are things that we have to be taught how, and so
Yes.
these are so the battle that exists is why because of lack of knowledge in a lot of
Lack of
respects.
knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yes.
And lack of
Sorry to be pulling the
communication. Yes.
disappearing act here. I
We are
seem to be pulling a disappearing act, but my Wi-Fi is having an issue with itself.
yes.
Yeah, but knowledge is power. Knowledge is definitely power, and like Lady D just said, we don't have to necessarily have a battle, but we have to educate ourselves. Men have to educate themselves. It's just a natural part of life. If a woman don't have a cycle, very likely she will not be able to produce life. It's just a part of it.
Mhm.
So if when you're dating somebody, you should lay all this on the table, what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what they
Mhm.
what their belief is, not even likes, their belief is, and how can we come to a mutual agreement? How can you meet me in the middle? Because we don't know how, we have to take people how they come and all of that stuff. But also, if the men are gonna be all so taken up about the cooking and all that, why don't you cook during that time? Give her a little rest,
That in mother.
because during that time, we are not exactly having fun. We're not having a picnic. We're not having the time of our lives.
Exactly.
So some of us
True.
are actually suffering
Mm-hmm.
Mother
Yes.
to
during that
attend.
time. So
Yes.
don't come and be
Mm-hmm.
all sanctimonious and try to say,
Single
well,
connection,
I
not
don't
for
want to see this, I don't
parties.
want to see that. Get yourself in the kitchen, roll up your sleeve, and go cook something.
Mhm.
Because you know what?
Oh, yes.
Sickness. My grandparents would say, what if sickness lay you low? If sickness lay the
You have
low,
to learn.
you are the one who stood up and said, sickness and in health, take care of. So you
Right.
can't now distance yourself. One woman, she got a little agitated with the man because he was acting like he couldn't touch her underwear, like him touch it and him jump back. Ah! And she said, at night time, you know, have a problem handling it all kind of way.
Right.
So now you in the
Thank you.
daytime you're
Exactly.
acting like you can't touch it. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Mm.
You put it on your head for your scarf and dance a jig, and all of a sudden you acting because you see your friend. It's peer pressure in the old age. You know, put it on to eye mask like you're Batman or Robin. Come on. And then all of a sudden you act like say a fire burn you touch it.
Like you
So
can't
it's
touch
a matter,
it.
yeah. So it's a matter of the men being sensitive
Yes.
during that time of the month, because you know it changes as you go along. And it's the same thing with regards to even careers too. You know, we mentioned careers
Just
briefly in the
Yes.
opening.
say goodbye to
Now you
them.
have women who are on construction site. I have to pass a construction site to work, and for the past month, they have been working diligently, like laying pipe. They're doing a different drainage system. And the person who operates that heavy machine, that digger thing that you pull all the heavy weight and dig the hole, is a girl. She's a very petite girl. The first time I saw her, I said, my goodness, the tractor is this big. It have the big digger on the ground. And she's the one who was just moving the controls and working out there. And all these big brawny men were taking instructions from her. And she
From
was like,
her.
this. And I like that. You'd have probably have some men who would prefer to not have to listen to, a female in that position. So
Right.
sometimes also
True.
it's a case with the careers, because God give us all
Yes.
different inclinations.
Mm-hmm.
And if a woman happen to be,
Yes.
I have a friend, Dora. She works for Con Edison. She's with the men out there connecting electricity
Very
and doing all of
common
that
now.
stuff, wearing the tool belt and the
You have
hard
the
hat.
knowledge, you have the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you have.
And the other day, I
Mhm.
saw them
Yes.
posted a video on from Jamaica. They have a set of women who are the
Oh,
garbage, no, the garbage, the garbage
yes,
collectors. Let
I
me
Yes.
tell you
saw it.
Yeah, I saw it.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let me tell you
I
something.
saw
Proud
it.
of them.
yes.
Yes.
Proud.
And they
And
look proper doing it
Them
too.
look good. I want them good uniform. Them look good. Them are mothers and
fingernails,
them have on them nails. Them look good and them jump on that truck.
good.
And I think because they're women, them do such a better job collecting the garbage because they make sure say everything is taken up.
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's true. Because
Yes.
when you drop them, pick it up and
Yeah.
the men will drive
So
away and leave it.
yeah,
Yes.
battle of the sexes. And most
So,
of the
but
time,
you think,
it's
mom?
not really, it's not necessary. Most of the
No.
time it's not necessary, but because we don't know how to handle information, how to handle
Yes.
situations. So if I'm taking the position that I'm a woman and I can do it too, or I am a man and it is my given right to do any particular thing, then friction, you're going to have sparks flying
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because nobody wants to say, well, hey, listen, yes, as a man, you have the strength to
Mm-hmm.
execute certain things. You don't expect a woman
Yes.
who is in the same field to go lift up
To
no
do it.
boulder, right? You don't need 50
Right.
more of them to lift up a boulder, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to 5 little man maybe lift up a boulder, for argument's
Mm-hmm.
sake. So we respect the gender and what it comes with, right?
Right.
Certain things.
Yes.
But
Okay,
if
mom
you
has to run.
oh, she has to, Mama,
Mom
where
has
you
to
are go?
run. Yeah, she has to go take care of, some things with my sister.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
she's gonna say bye.
I'm going out in the sunshine to take some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Vitamin C or
I
whatever it is. Whatever it is. But my last little take is
comment.
in the Bible what it says, train up a child in the way he should go, that when he's older, he will not depart from it. So if you train your children in the way they should go, but if you notice nowadays, you can't talk to the children because nobody is listening because the phone comes first, or the electronic, the iPad, and whatever it is in their ears are. So it's hard for you to get in a word to even train them to say, to how to do it, how to live, how to, get a girlfriend, how to, it's hard for you to do that because they're not listening.
They still have to do it,
right?
even if you
You
go
gotta,
through 1
you
year
gotta do
cycle.
it. The
Yeah,
thing
I
about
mean,
it is
but you
that
have some people who
they have to do it
they
early.
will do it, right? They will do it. They'll try to get in a little thing edgewise, but by the time they get that in, yes, mom, and they gone back to it again. So
They're not even
Yeah,
listening.
they're not listening,
that is easily
So,
remedied, Mama G. No,
huh?
Aunt G, that is easily remedied. The thing about it is it depends on when you start. Because these kids are not buying the electronics for themselves. You know
Right,
what I mean? The parents are buying
right.
the electronics.
Yeah,
And
when you
and and if
facilitate them.
True.
yeah, and yeah, if you can't wait till the tree is old to bend it. So you have to have
Mm,
boundaries. So if you, matter of fact, electronics like phone, tablets, and all, and iPad and all those things. Those things are things that should be given as incentive for having accomplished certain things. So therefore, if you have a child who would prefer to be buried in the electronics than hear what you say, you take
take
away
it
the
away.
electronics, plain and simple.
That's
Don't give
right.
them the electronics. And then the
That's
other
right.
thing is that unfortunately, some parents, because it hurts my heart when I see people with infants, not toddler,
Right.
You're talking
That's
about
what
infants
I was
in
going to
the
say.
stroller, and they have a phone cock up so the pity them can't see the screen. I have seen people pushing stroller and the little infant with just a try to probably hand and eye coordination, where all you need is a little thing for them, a little rattle or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you put the phone and you put it on ABC mouse or you put it on whichever one they're watching. And so the kids them get acclimated to these electronics. And then you have some parents who will say, you have, so, of necessity. I'm not bashing anybody because we all got to get through life as best we can. But you have some parents who use these devices as babysitters
Keep them quiet.
Mm-hmm.
to keep them
Mm-hmm.
quiet.
Yes,
And
they do.
look, to a certain point, you can, because if you want to play lullaby on an what you call it, on a device, don't let them be watching it. Let them be listening to it. That's a sense too they have to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Uh-oh.
the whatever story and let them listen to it. But you have to train them early. So when you give them all these devices,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then you come with your own because everything can Google now. So when you come and
Yes.
you want to ingrain
Yeah,
in
yeah.
them know what you have been taught, and they're already used to the newfangled method, it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's challenging even. You have to put your foot down. And I'm
Change.
talking from experience because yeah, with my grandchildren, you know, that's what we tell them it's an incentive. You have your tablet, you have your phone. The two bigger ones, them now have phone, 10
Mm.
years old, 8 years old. But it's only for them to be able to do certain things. You don't sit there and be buried in it. And they are
Yeah.
given certain amount of time to be online because, of course, they need to know how to navigate because jobs nowadays require that you are savvy with these techie things.
Mm-hmm.
Even to go to school, sometime my 10-year-old grandson, when he's going to school, sometime in backpack look very small, and I say, hold on, where the rest of the book? Him say, oh, I have my Chromebook in my backpack. They
Mm-hmm.
do everything on their Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
So you want them to be savvy in that way, and it's a part of it's required based on their curriculum. But when it comes to like, putting in the old tried and true things in them that don't never grow old, man. We have to stick with it comes what may.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It is now 40 minutes after 11 o'clock. Stick and stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Lady D Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing? Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story now, man. In From the Author Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592.
Welcome back. It's 11:15 a.m. Call me. Me sound like what's your name again, Jack?
What's your name? Miss Chloe. Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo.
Sound like Miss Cleo. But I tell you, we really have been having good conversations.
I didn't realize that we could have a whole show about
out of it. You see that?
And believe me, there's more to be said.
Yes.
Yes.
There's lots more to be said with that, because we have the Mr. Moms now who are staying home taking care of the kids. Maybe the wife have a career that is profitable and can support the family. And so, in order to raise the children the way you would prefer to have them raised by you, the man might elect to be Mr. Mom and stay home. And some men are very, very good with children, and they know how to, they know how to raise the little ones. And
I don't know if it's a voice, but for some reason, when the man speaks to the child, they tend to adhere. So they're
I find that
it's more authoritative, I guess.
I find that to be true.
Authority.
Because sometimes when mom reprimands, some children laugh. They just think their mother.
That's true.
Yes,
true.
Which shouldn't happen, but it happens. Yes, they don't take their mother seriously.
What's that, man? Ricky?
My grandmother used to tell my mother. Said her daughters, because I grew up with my grandmother, so she was a no-nonsense person. But my siblings were spoiled by my mother. So my grandmother would look at my mother and say, you pick and take you and break it.
That is so true. So true.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think, yes, relative to the topic at hand, we really have stepped into it, because I think that over time, we just kind of tuning out each other. Nobody no want to listen, and nobody no want to, everybody wants the high road.
And everybody know it. That's the thing. Everybody know it. Everybody been there, done that, wrote the book about it. So it becomes a challenge right there. But it's a lot of gender role reversals going on now, and knowledge indeed is power, like I mentioned before. Because for the men who are educated and know that, look, we are a partnership and this is how it is. You might have a household where the man cooks and the woman don't cook, or the man love to iron and do other household chores. But if you have the stubborn ones, them who say a woman for do it, she could. I mean, I know women who are working 10 hours a day and rushing home because they have to go cook, and the man come home long time and sit down there wait. No, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Some of them don't work and could easily do that. The woman, or when she, But the other day, my mother went to the clinic, and they were telling me, my sister and her were telling me that there was this lady who works at the clinic who was asking her how to, because my mother is diabetic, so they were talking about nutrition and so on. So the woman turned around and asked my mother, how should she cook fish and all those things? Because she said she works, the long hours. Her husband is diabetic. And she says she and the kids eat out every single day. And she would love to start cooking for her husband the correct meals for him to eat because he's diabetic. And why they eat out every day, she said when she would go in the kitchen as a young girl with her mother would chase her out the kitchen. I have to come out the kitchen. So because of that, she didn't learn how to cook. She told my mother that. And that was just this week.
Wow.
So those are some of the things that we're, seeing in these roles as mothers or, caretakers, caregivers.
And there
we have to. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry to interject.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say that if you are married to someone for some time and fine, here now you have a health challenge and you need to, there are nutritionists available.
Right.
That they can tap into. It's not a case
and plus she works at the clinic, so
because that is so much money to be eating out every day.
She said she and the kids eat out every day. That's what she said.
No. Information shouldn't be so difficult to source.
You can't save money that way.
That's great. No.
That's rough going. She can source a nutritionist because most of we're heavy-handed in a lot of things. So even if we can't,
Professor Google, just consult Professor Google. You understand? You can learn how to make 2 pieces of vegetable and steam. So my sister said she told her about steaming the vegetables also. Me say, sis, you have to be careful how you tell the lady steam. She might go think so. She can turn on the steaming iron and put something over it because that is steam for them. Or put the steam out of one pot or something come up. Me say you can't tell her if you put the vegetable in the pot and steam it, because if you put it in the pot, it's a different thing. It's not steam for her. You have to explain.
We don't want
that to the lady.
Remember recently I shared the story about Pam, right? We don't want a Pam.
Exactly.
Alien. Pam time.
Yes, some people need a whole. Some people need a whole tutorial.
Yeah.
But back in the day when young ladies were getting married and stuff, the mothers and the aunts and stuff would see to it that they were prepared. You were prepared to be able to take care of your home. So in some way, you don't have to be a gourmet chef, but learn to make 2 meals, couple sandwich, 1 soup, 1 little something. Or if you just married and live so and can't do nothing, a buff on that.
And men also have to remember too that this day and age, women in this day and age, they're not going to really cater. I might can't cook, but even if they do, they might cook the food and they're not gonna cater to you, like them come feed it to you in a platter and then you just leave the plate there and you don't them go and check you.
That's another
the young girls of today, they're gonna check you. So also learn to do something for yourself and to help your family, because that's what people are looking for now.
You can cook too. You can cook.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
Google is on vacation. Somebody said Google is on vacation. Some of the comments I don't see, Lady D, because I don't know why I don't see some of the comments, but when you put them on, that's a funny one.
Oh yeah.
On vacation.
Google does not slumber nor sleep. So
no, sir.
No, but don't we suffer if anything happened to Google,
What?
That's it. I'm telling you, everything is not right.
Mr. Morrison said some people said their daughter can get helper. No, you don't want that. Because
don't get the helper come in and go with the husband.
Thank you.
Because
the helper help herself all the way.
Herself.
Thank you.
No. Answers communication is the key. Anne-Marie and I went to high school. We went to high school.
Okay.
And we were on the track team.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
But overall, again, battle of the sexes. And people will use this term very loosely. And there is some kind of a edge to it.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It's real, and it's affecting people in their relationships.
Yes.
family in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
why you think, as we said, there are some men and women who opt not to do certain things. It's because of
Mm-hmm.
how they were taught, what they
Right.
saw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how do we now do damage control? Every week we come on here and we're identifying and discussing our own personal experiences. And some of us have had to learn the very hard way,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you find a man who is very obstinate, I mean, for everything that you do, him have a problem with it, that has to be checked. You have to check him,
Yes.
Yeah.
not in a
Yes.
disrespectful manner,
Somebody
but
did
you have
that.
to check him because
Yeah,
then that is
you might
coming
just
from
have to leave that
somewhere.
one.
Yeah, man, that
Mm-hmm.
is coming from somewhere. That seed was planted,
Yes.
Mhm.
and to go pull out that root, you're gonna need more than chainsaw, not chainsaw. What they call when them do groundwork?
Not even that. It's a
Fuck.
gonna need a it's a gonna need a it's a gonna need a bulldozer.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes too, it's a pattern of beliefs that have been handed down.
Mhm.
There's no rhyme or reason for it. Granddad, great granddad, dad, everybody did
Mhm.
it until the boy say, I saw it we go. And although he get educated and he should know better. Some men hide behind the belief. Them know so not really go so.
Same so.
But them just hide
There you
Right.
behind
go.
it
Yeah,
as
that's
a
my
There you
as
go.
a means of asserting themselves
Mhm.
and holding some kind of sway over the woman. And then
uh,
some women they want to make them relationship
Work.
work exactly so much they will bend over backwards, but
and
there's only
spoil
but
the
so
man.
much you can do before you break.
Thank
You know
you.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes,
you know
and
what
it don't have
happened?
to be that way. It
So
don't have to be that way.
guess what happened now? Here is the psychological part of it. They are so stressed, overwhelmed, and if they're not talking about it, I guarantee you that same anger they can direct it to somebody else
Oh
or
yeah.
something
Yes.
else.
True.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So all of a sudden,
True.
here is
True.
this flood of information coming out, and you're like, what that have to do with me?
Exactly.
Mhm.
So they redirect.
Transference.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, the transfer, and
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and you need to get help. This whole dynamic here of man and woman, something not easy,
It's
So
not.
no, that's
It's
why you
not
have
It's not.
snap.
easy.
That's why you
Tell me
have
about
snap. Remember that show that when name snap?
Yes.
Not
And you
Yes.
wonder why you sometimes some people will say I saw no little clue, I got no little evidence of anything going on.
mm-hmm.
But they have a thing called a storm in a teacup.
Yeah.
You have it bubbling and bubbling till it just rise up
Mhm.
like a volcano
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
to the,
And
yeah,
erupt.
to the average onlooker, they don't know what provoked that action.
Yeah.
Though here it is.
And
But it don't
another
have to be that
thing,
way. That is
it
yeah,
doesn't.
that is why I believe in talking. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Now they're having this thing about when you're dating, they like your first couple of first dates and stuff. They say certain places don't go. Go
Yes.
someplace where conversation is encouraged, where you have quietness. You can probably do a
Mhm.
picnic. You sit out somewhere or you go someplace, maybe to a game, somewhere where you can talk. But if you go someplace that talking is limited or is too noisy and
Mhm.
all of that stuff, you don't get to, beside the physical and being able to look at each other and smile and get the butterflies and all that, you don't really get to pick the person's brain to
Mm.
see how you
Yes.
Right.
communicate, to see
To
where
see
you
how they
where
think.
your
Yeah.
differences and your similarities are. Because if you're going to form a life, you're talking about life. If you're going to form a life partnership, you need to have your ducks in a row. Otherwise, if you see flag, you have your green flag and you have your red flag. If you see green flag, okay, that's good. You see red flag, don't look on it and say maybe it's not that red. You have to pause.
Yes.
Because if
Mhm.
you have some women with checklists, they have 10 things to check off, or the men also should have them checklists. It's
Yes.
not women
Yeah.
alone. You must have what you require, your requirements are, what you can live with, what you can compromise with, and all that. So
Yeah.
when you doing the checklist, if you get 8 out of 10 and you say, well, the one that can live with, the one they have to fix, you fix it before,
Yes,
but
you go
don't
ahead.
leave it and don't do it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I
no.
agree because sometimes we tend to think that we can
Don't leave it
help
hanging.
you.
Yes.
You know, we want to help you. So even if the
Mm-mm,
big flag is there, multicolored, it gets so
mm-mm,
damaged, it multicolored, and you're
Yes.
saying, "Oh, I think I can manage that. I can
mm-mm.
help. Dog eat your supper." It's not going to work.
No,
No,
It's not gonna
no.
work, and you have
no.
to
Mm-mm.
be honest with
Yep.
yourself. Because
Yes,
even
from
at the day of
experience.
the altar, even the day at the altar, hey,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, do
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Let me
I was in a wedding. I
brother.
was in a I was in a wedding one time. And it wasn't the wedding I was in that happened, but we were in the limo. Oh Lord, that's a whole other story. The limo driver spent a lot of time with us because the dresses weren't well made and they were falling apart. Him had to literally pull over and start tape we up and pin we up because things was just falling apart.
oh
That's going
gee,
to be a different show.
No
It
for
was in Brooklyn, right at Prospect Park. And it so happened that he was telling us that one time he was going to a wedding, and when he got to the church and stopped, he was transporting the groom. He said the guy wouldn't get out the car, and he said, "Come on, man!" And the guy said, "You know what? So just drive. Me not bother with this thing here." And he said, "You serious?" And the guy changed his mind right there on his way to the church.
oh dear, because he saw too many things happening, like a bad luck.
Yeah,
wow.
apparently
I've never heard
on
anything
the
like
ride
that.
over
That's
there,
crazy.
yeah,
Mhm.
he may have
To
been
reflect.
mulling over
Reflect.
whatever.
Oh
And he
gee,
said, the guy just said, watch out, just drive here, sir.
And get
And him
phone
same
fee.
figure, make him drive it here
And
10
get
or
phone
15
fee.
minutes to see if him head would come back together. And the guy said, no, I'm not going to bother with it.
hmm, yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
So it happened.
I know that we have given you more than a mouthful this morning, but food for
Yes,
thought.
phone.
Food for thought. How do we relate to each other? What are our strong points or weak points? What do we
Mm-hmm.
hold on to so hard and fast that nobody can seem to even have a conversation, show you a different
Compromise.
Fudge.
perspective on things? Women, how are we
Yeah.
talking to men? Do we come with that kind of big old chip that it weigh you down so much? We have to also
Mhm.
manage what we can do, how well we can do it, and how we can communicate. Because sometimes we're really brutish. We can be very brash, so that
Yes.
too, we,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to, have to prove to a man by being insulting and stuff of what you're capable of or why
Right.
should have you in the first place.
Mhm.
Sometimes you
Right.
observe how, we behave. And men,
Mhm.
you need to start paying attention to women. If you think that there's a shortfall, I think you need to go talk to people who can really mentor you right. Mentor you
Yep.
right. You maybe I talk to some old loggerhead that all them tell you, boy, my woman can do this, and you carry it right home.
Yes, telling you what you want to
Yes.
hear, but not
Yeah.
what you need to
Hmm.
You
hear.
know. So and
Yeah,
Right.
that
yes.
too. And
True,
you don't
Jackie,
know how
true.
to leave that clique. You're so deeply embedded in that clique, you don't know how to step away. So you can go find
Hmm.
new friends, people who will uplift you, man, and let you start
Right.
treating women right. So, the battle, it's here, but we can get past it. We can get past it. What can I say?
Mm.
Yes.
It's another Saturday. It's called Saturday Morning Runnings, and we're wrapping up. I'd like to thank you, ladies, always for just being with me. This whole putting together promo was like an exam.
Oh,
You
Lord.
pass.
Oh,
You
look what you
pass.
put lady through.
Oh,
But you
dear God.
pass. You pass the
You
exam.
pass.
We haven't
Yes,
even
you
touched
pass.
on different cultures. Because when you have cultures that
Exactly.
collide and
This
Yes.
could
different
go
belief
on.
Oh
systems,
Lord,
that's
that's the part
sometimes
two. That's
they say love conquers
the
all
part
anyway,
two.
you know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a part two for real, man.
That's true. But we'd
Yeah,
like to thank all
Yeah.
our audience, all the audience for just being here with us. And we realize we
yeah.
get few more people. So let me catch on right now.
Big
Those
them
of
up.
you who are here, you have never subscribed. Remember, there's no cost to subscribing, to being a subscriber to the channel. We are trying to capture numbers of people because it has its role to play. So please, I'm asking you to hop in right now, like, you see the little thingy, click on it, like, because when you like, it allows the reel to keep rotating throughout, and every now and again you'll get the pop-up. And then when you subscribe, you get full, it's like the
Access.
all-inclusive hotel.
You get full access.
You get full access. So subscribe. Not only should you subscribe, but there's a little bell right there. You click on the bell and you'll just see it says all, which means you'll get everything once I go live. So please, please subscribe. And I want to get to 1,000. I've been pleading. If you go to one video where it looks so.
How much we gone?
Yesterday I saw like it was at 648. So
Okay.
I'm
We
hoping
have
that
to do
we
a show
can.
on subscription. We
Yes,
need to do a show on subscription. With that
something
man, we
like
just
that
subscription we are
to
dealing with.
get the
Yeah, because
numbers.
that, I mean, just tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell
Yes,
your auntie, your cousin, your sister, your neighbor. It's just a quick thing. You know what? For me, when I tell people, they say, "Yeah, me, I got to do it. Yeah, man, yeah, next." I miss the show, I said, not because this show is available and you can see it. Just
right.
do the subscription for yourself. You're not going to do anything to you.
Yes,
You watch
because when
them
you're
as you
done,
go
you know,
along. Because yeah, because they like the content, and I said with if I may say so myself, this is and it's
So
that entertaining alone.
sure, Shirts. Oh Lord, Shirts. Where are you? This is where now we would have.
Hey, people at church. People at church subscribe though.
So this is where we would want to say the devil is a liar. You see, just as how sugar
See a
Shirts,
freeze.
you have to repeat. Okay, you freeze out. You
Uh-huh.
have to say the
You
devil is a
freeze
liar.
out, churns.
Let me tell you, I had to turn off my internet. Right now, I'm just collecting dust from the air because I had to turn
But
off
there
my
was
internet.
Oh.
It's acting up really badly.
So we need to
man is
speak
Yeah.
with
bad
the
too. Man keep
provider.
going in and out.
DL,
So Claudine's on it
why are you
hungry.
coming at this hour of the day? Hi, DL. I never ever thought
I've
a
never
woman is
thought a
unclean
woman
during
is
her
unclean
feminine
during
Oh, I love it.
process. That
process.
kind of thinking is just hogwash, unequivocal, unadulterated,
All right.
Ignorant.
All of the uns.
All of that.
What are
Ignorant
you doing?
self. DL, it's good to see you. Hope to see you next week. There you go. But we're wrapping up. So thanks
Yes.
everyone for tuning in this morning. We appreciate you because we
Okay.
can't show without you. Somebody sings always and
That's all.
walk good this
All
week.
right. Have a good day.
Blessings. We're
Blessings,
out.
blessings.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're out. God.
Hi, I'm Lady D Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing well inside the zone. Second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man. in from the Author Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592.